Good morning, everybody. It is 9 o'clock on this Monday morning. I'm Jane Monreal. You are watching Live Impact News here on WCNC Plus. We have been following now since Friday, as soon as we learned that Border Patrol agents would be in Charlotte as early as Saturday morning, and have been talking to local up through state leaders about what that means for not only immigrant families, but local politicians, as well as folks who support what is happening, saying that criminals are being needed to be taken off the streets of Charlotte, and that this is a positive thing for Mecklenburg County. So as we continue to follow that and what is happening live in and around the Charlotte Metro, we will bring the latest as we see come into the newsroom. We are also monitoring our weather. It is a beautiful day so far on this Monday morning. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Chris Mulcahy. He is in studio right now. Chris, thanks for joining us on a Monday.
Of course.
At least we're off to a nice sunny start.
Yeah. How did everyone love yesterday, though?
It was good. Yeah. I was out and about.
Okay.
Yesterday.
First off, I'm not calling you out, but just good. It was good.
No, it was fantastic.
Okay. I was gonna say like today's good.
Today's good.
But yesterday was 79 degrees.
Yeah. I had coffee on the patio.
Mm-hmm.
Took out the umbrella, windows down. All the things that you needed to do to take advantage of a gorgeous day.
All right, good.
So yeah, it was great.
So yeah, sorry for attacking you, but all of a sudden you're just like, how dare you call yesterday just good? No, it's seriously was a sensational day. It was on the windier side, but whenever you have days like that pretty much is almost near record-breaking highs. Yesterday we had a high of 79. Today we're going to see a big difference by about 10 to 15 degrees. But we're also getting a little bit close to where we should be for this time of the season. But here's how it looks outside. It's gorgeous wherever you go. Across our Mrs. Sparky Carolina Camera Network, you have all these Carolina blues that are out and about with us. That's what you like to see. But I do want to mention something, and chime in if anyone in this room is feeling it, maybe not. My hands are a little bit drier today. Yes. The skin is a little bit, you are feeling it?
Totally.
Okay. Well, that is all because of these very dry dew points. So that I'm not a big lotion person. Maybe not everyone does it, but I feel like today I need to, because you can feel it in your hands. Also, sometimes the corner of the lips, maybe chapped lips. Everything is now trending to be because of this drier forecast, where every time you have a dew point below 30, it's dry. When it's closer to 20, it's very dry, and that leads to more zaps and claps. And the zaps I'm talking about is that little zzz that you get on the doorknob, some extra staticky cling. Very typical during the winter months, but then oftentimes you can have that excessive drier air. And whenever relative humidity is below 30%, it is a fire danger. And as you're seeing now for the update for the 9 o'clock hour, look at all these values over here. This is crazy. 54%, 29%, 33%. We typically have the driest part of the day during the middle of the afternoon, that these aren't too unusual. And the ideal relative humidity is around, really honestly, 50 to 60%. We're nowhere near that. So it's actually uncomfortably dry today and the next. That's my only problem. And I have this handy dandy chart that I make here. This is automatic data that's really just showing the average dew point during the afternoon. And it looks like it could be closer to 20 degrees for this afternoon. That is below that 30-degree point and puts us into that cladicky sting, dry air, chapped lips, static hair type of zone. Once you get to the middle blue bar that you're seeing there, and that's where we're going to be most of the week, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So just letting you know, we have a couple of winter problems for today and for tomorrow. So that fire risk is definitely going to be brailing with some wind gusts about 20 miles per hour. Relatively low humidity value, less than 25%. That's why you're seeing these maps. These are put out by NC State from their climate office. That has a very high local fire danger, not just for today, and you didn't see anything change here, but that's also for tomorrow as well. Same map, and it's back down to a moderate level by your Wednesday, where Wednesday things are trending much better. Check it out over in the next 36 hours. It's not really a lot to point out. We just have a high pressure system that moves through, and then eventually you're going to have this L and this warm front that pushes in a little bit closer. That warm front is going to shift the winds and allow us for a big time warm up. As far as our rain chances go, the best chance I have for you is late Friday into Saturday morning, and then another shot on Sunday. But realistically, I think it's Friday night and Saturday, the only days that are really isolating themselves from the rest for a better chance for rain. So how that looks like for the long term is we will have a chance for rain, I would say, heading into Wednesday morning for the mountains alone. The rest of us are just fine. At most, maybe have a sprinkle Tuesday night. But it looks like the best chance, as you can see, that bands of showers quickly push through, is going to be Friday into Saturday, and then again the following Thursday. So it is still a ways out. Back to today, 72 and 79 is where we were over the weekend. So 66 degrees seems like kind of a harsh difference, but it wastes no time getting right back into the 70s. We're back to 76 on Wednesday, 75 on Thursday. As of right now, I have made Wednesday my pick of the week because it looks to be the warmest. Nice mix of cloud and sunshine, so certainly more clouds than what we have today, but a nice little trend. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows that upward climb back to 76, 75, 74, and 73. So we have 4 straight days in the 70s. What's really unique about this is if you look at our average high and our low, it's 62 and 39 for this time of year. Tomorrow morning, we're down to 39. Then outside of that, we have anywhere from 50 to 58, 54, 54. So that is going to be a set of warmer mornings, so you don't need the heavier coat, and some warmer highs. So we're talking about a nice little string of shorts days if this is your temperature range. For me, truly, I can wear shorts if it's sunny and in the 50s. But some of those that grew up here, you think that I'm crazy saying something like that. And then beyond that, I think we'll be in the 60s heading into next week. But really not a lot to report in the weather world, which is always great news. Just a little relatively dry over the next couple of days.
And we appreciate that. Nice work week ahead. All right,
Heck
hopefully
yeah.
that continues into Thanksgiving week as well.
Yeah, getting closer to
Maybe too far.
Thanksgiving. What is the date for Thanksgiving, by the way?
27th. I mean, it's 10 days. 27th, right?
27th? Okay.
Yeah.
Because our 10-day forecast brings you up to the 26th. So we can bring that up. The 26th is 63 degrees. So as of right now, it looks like we're back to the lower 60s.
That's still good.
Likely, which, by the way, is where we should be. Because by the time we get to Thanksgiving, I think we average a high of 59 degrees.
Oh,
So,
all right.
so yeah, that's a little bit more on brand. That's why whenever you have a run of the 70s yet again, this is a nice little treat. Enjoy it.
Got to do it. All right. Thank you, Chris,
Of
for
course.
that. We'll appreciate that for a Monday start here on November 17th. All right. We want to go right now to our Richard Devane because he is in East Charlotte. As we've been talking about, Customs Border Patrol in the area spotted since the weekend. Richard, tell us where you are and what you're seeing.
Yeah, we're here at one of the elementary schools here in Charlotte. I'll step out of the way and let you take a look. This is Charlotte East Language Academy, where, according to that person you're actually looking at right now, who's holding that sign, that this is the amount of parents and children who showed up today is considerably less, as you can understand. There is a large Latino population here, and a lot of parents, students have stayed away today, fearing what has been a very contentious weekend, very scary weekend for a lot of folks. Now, that's why an organization yesterday got together and they actually came out to protest right there at the Office of Homeland Security here in Charlotte. The reason they did it, they said they wanted an end to what they believe were dangerous and unnecessary immigration enforcement tactics. I don't know if we have that video from earlier this morning, but they were out there because they said they were describing what was a growing fear within the immigrant communities, I should say, fears that keep people from running basic errands or getting food for their families. Others say they came out because they've watched similar situations unfold in many cities across the country, and now they're worried about how it will affect Charlotte. As you can well imagine, people on edge, a lot of folks staying in. I was at a grocery store this morning in East Charlotte, won't say which one, but it was on Albemarle Road, and heard one of the employees talking about how they actually scheduled a number of people off for fears that they would be harassed. The Walmart also on Albemarle Road, the scene of where border agents were there questioning folks about their status. Those shoppers, one person actually texting me and saying they're harassing shoppers, not criminals. We've heard reports of people in neighborhoods who are working to mow the lawns or something of that nature being approached. There's a sense of unrest here in East Charlotte. Just for perspective, this actual school is just in the throes, or just a couple football fields away from what will be the Eastland Yards area right here in East Charlotte. So anyone who's familiar with Charlotte for the years knows that this community is pretty much on edge, especially this community at this time for everything that's gone on. We're right here in East Charlotte. We'll send it back to you. Okay, hear what's going on. I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. Richard, sorry about that. I think my mic was off. If you can hear me, do people...
Okay. Yes, now I can hear you. We were worried about that for a second.
No,
Jane.
that was my bad. My bad, Richard. So if you are our boots on the ground and talking to these families, moving forward in the next couple days or weeks, does any of these folks have a plan as to what they're going to do next? What are their next steps?
They're going to stay home. One lady said she actually brought her brother and her siblings here to school because she was afraid of her mother being approached or getting into any type of trouble. She was very vocal and emotional about that, so she's going to stay home. We do know that certain grocery stores in our area have also said, hey, we're going to offer free deliveries for those folks who need them. So this is kind of a hunker down mentality. This, as protesters will continue to go out to try to let these agents know how they feel. All the while, you can understand, for instance, that sign, I should say, is "Immigrants, we stand with you." There are a number of people who said, and just by looking at school starts at 9:15, it's now 9:12, so we would see a line of cars coming out of this parking lot, but we're not seeing that today. People who will stay home, trying to wait this out, if you will.
All right, Richard Devane out there live in East Charlotte. Thanks for bringing us that update. A stark difference from what it usually is on a day-to-day basis at this time. And we'll be back on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Back now at 9:15 here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We are continuing to follow the Customs Border Patrol's presence, running operations and having some documented encounters around the Charlotte Metro. A tweet now from Commander Greg Bovino just posted last night on social media saying, "Whenever the wind takes us high, low, near, far, east, west, north, south, we take to the breeze, we go as we please," calling this Charlotte's Web, the operation that is happening here. This time, the breeze hit Charlotte like a storm. From border towns to the Queen City, our agents go where the mission calls, and posting a video on some of the arrests and folks that we are seeing being detained around Charlotte. That is from Commander Bovino from Border Patrol. Also, want to let you know that since Saturday, their presence here in Charlotte, Mr. Bovino saying 81 arrests so far have been conducted. Those 81 on Saturday. We are waiting to learn if anyone was arrested yesterday, but they have occurred really all over the Charlotte Metro, specifically East Charlotte and South Charlotte. Those concentrated Latino communities. And no word yet, though, on how long Border Patrol will be in the Charlotte area. They were in Chicago for weeks, as well as LA for weeks. So far, from what we've heard anecdotally, protests as they have occurred, big and small. The first one, notably one on Saturday out of First Ward Park, was predominantly peaceful. Later on this morning here on Live Impact News, want to let you know that we will have Mecklenburg County City Council member Malcolm Graham. He will be coming on and joining me here on Live Impact News, as well as representative for the state, Aisha Dew, who spoke earlier at a press conference from local to state leaders prior to Border Patrol's presence. She will be coming in here live to Live Impact News to weigh in as well. Want to let you know that I have reached out to Congressman Representative Ralph Norman, who has been vocal about the patrol's presence in Mecklenburg County, calling it a good thing. So I've reached out to him again, hoping that he has some time to join us now that these operations are actually underway. I have also reached out to Senator Ted Budd, Republican Ted Budd, asking him to weigh in as well. So hopefully we will get a response, as we do want to hear all voices on what is happening, as the presence and Operation Charlotte's Web is gaining a national headline. It is in the spotlight across the country. So that's why we continue to follow it here on WCNC Charlotte. Right now, I want to go out live to D.C. I believe this is D.C. RFK Jr. is having a press conference or a forum. This is on allergies, I believe, and it is an allergy announcement. So he is not there yet, but this is the FDA commissioner and other folks with the Food Allergy Fund talking about a food allergy announcement. Let's go ahead and listen in on Live Impact News on WCNC+.
They are important, very important for the epithelial barrier. Breastfeeding also can have an effect in early life. Lack of antibiotics, obviously you don't want to take antibiotics if it's not necessary. If it's necessary, absolutely, but it could be disruptive if you take antibiotics when it's not needed. Sometimes taking fermented food like kefir, kimchi, yogurt, all of this can add to the microbial diversity and help. For the environment, exposure to soil, exposure to outdoor environment, exposure to pets can affect the microbial diversity positively. Living in a farm or living in rural areas was shown to correlate with less asthma, less allergic diseases. So all of these factors, and mode of delivery, C-section versus vaginal, can also affect the microbial diversity. So all of these factors are important, but I think the question was also why diet is not enough, because it's too complex. Yeah. So the microbiome is too complex. Would you like to?
Yeah, exactly. It's too complex, and sometimes also our genetics doesn't allow certain bacteria to thrive. So we need to help. There are some functions that are not naturally present in the microbiome, and so what if we can reintroduce them? What if we can retrain our microbiome, introduce those functions that they're missing, either introducing those bacteria, because now we know the mechanisms, and then we can reintroduce those functions, or and then retrain the immune system. So sometimes you can eat amazing food. You can be exposed to the best environment, but still your body, or maybe because your family wasn't passed along through your family, then you don't get those bacteria, and so we need to find a way to be able to reintroduce those functions, and those kind of I would say almost I would consider it almost like a gene therapy, where you put it in genetic material that it's like repairing something that is missing in one of your organs. Microbiome, even though there are bacteria, it's an organ for us. And so you have to consider that as an organ that works as your heart, your brain, but it's made by other cells, but they need us to survive, and it's kind of a crosstalk. And so when they're missing something, we can go and try to repair it, basically.
It's a gene therapy or a transplant therapy.
Exactly, transplants, exactly.
I'm already hearing so many wonderful things that we've discovered about the microbiome in the last few years. And Ilana told us that the Food Allergy Fund is launching a microbiome research collective to bring together labs. How will this kind of collaboration help further this field? Do you want to start, Dr. Kimes?
Sure. I mean, we're living in a modern day of everybody talking about AI. And what that helps me talk about here is specifically complex data. You heard the reference to how complex the microbiome. That is the opportunity and the beauty of what we're all trying to understand and apply, is it will allow us to address more complex multifactorial chronic diseases. And the tough part about doing that is getting enough data so that you can really, truly, deeply understand the mechanisms that are happening. And it's hard to do as individual companies or researchers to really get that amount of data. The flourishment of AI from large language models is because they had the internet, right? And they had all of this access to data around language. We need that kind of big data to be able to really fundamentally understand and get to a position where we are doing targeted precision medicine through the microbiome. So it helps support a movement towards that direction from my perspective.
And I think if I can add also, the beautiful component of it is the ability to bridge different expertise. And so this is something that it's lacking very much in research sometimes, because people are silos, they work in their own specific area, and they don't bridge. And the breakthrough science comes through connections. When you look at things from different angles, you get experts from different part of the problem, and you look at the problem as like a 360 angle, and so you get a stronger science. Like it's better, it's easier to understand their mechanisms. Because for example, if you have a lot of data, but you don't have the right people looking at those data, and really there is kind of a conversation, scientific dialectic, where people talk and then trying to figure out the mechanisms to then develop therapies. I think it's even with data we are not able to achieve to find therapies or to achieve to understand this complex system. And I think it's the combinations of the ability to bringing together hospital patients, data from patients, and research center with different expertise that they can come together to create something novel and more innovative. And I think that's something that Ilana and the Food Allergy Fund has been able to achieve, that I think it's outstanding.
Yeah, I agree. I would add also that, particularly it will bring together immunologists, microbiologists, genomic people, and clinical trial experts. So that's very important because, as you mentioned, in the lab, usually we focus on one particular domain. So it is important to bridge all of the technical expertise together in transcriptomics, in genomics, in metabolomics. It's extremely important. And also, I think it is important to be sure that we have some reproducibility, because something at the population level, because what could work in a center might not work in another. So we have to standardize the protocol. We have to sit together and agree on what is relevant, what is not. Mm-hmm. And finally, I think it will open up the door for large clinical trials, hopefully, because ultimately that's the aim, clinical trials in humans. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an excellent initiative. It will accelerate discoveries.
Yeah.
Ilana also mentioned an idea that I think is really interesting, which is that food allergies could be the canary in the coal mine for other chronic diseases. Do you think, are we able to say scientifically that the microbiome is a shared denominator between food allergies and diseases like asthma and eczema and inflammatory bowel disease? Dr. Rhonda, do you want to start?
Yeah, actually, yes, that's true. That's true because it's what allow us when we look at food allergy, allow us to look at into how the microbiome can train the immune system, and the immune system is involved pretty much in everything, and so being able to use like food allergies as starting point to understand these mechanisms that we can then expand it into other disorders or diseases, it's really important. And so like it really becomes like a model system to study, would say like a microbiome immunomodulations and how the microbiome train like our immune system, and how we communicate, what signals are involved, the window of time that we need to, we need to looking into if we wanted to intervene for being able to, rewire the immune system. And this is something that I think has like far long implications in many other disease, autoimmune disease as well, like any type of autoimmune disease as well. Like it's just pretty much in the immune system regulates so many aspects of our life, even during development. A developmental aspect, like the immune system can affect the way our.
You've been watching a live forum happening right now out of Washington, D.C., as we are awaiting Secretary RFK Jr. to make a food allergy announcement. We will go back to that here shortly. But first, let's take a break on Live Impact News on WCNC+. At 9:30, welcome back to Live Impact News on WCNC+. I'm Jane Monreal. Right now, we are continuing to cover what's happening around Charlotte Metro with Customs Border Patrol making their presence known. They are calling it Charlotte's Web in an effort to what they say is a mission to pull off illegal immigrants who have long criminal history and records and are breaking the law. And so they have made 81 arrests so far, those 81 arrests coming on Saturday morning. We are waiting to learn from Commander Greg Bovino if any arrests were made yesterday. He's the commander of Border Patrol. In the meantime, since we've covered this and we brought a special edition starting on Saturday of Live Impact, we've heard of encounters and different witnesses talking about what's happening in their areas, such as South Boulevard in Archdale, a highly concentrated Latino community there. There is Albemarle Road in East Charlotte, as well as Central Avenue in East Charlotte, a very North Tryon, those, again, heavily Latino communities. And one man, you might have seen this on your social media or over the weekend or even on Saturday when we brought it to you live. Our Miles Harris talked to one man who is an American citizen of Latino descent, but he was pulled over or stopped by agents in one of the parking lots. And this is his interview now with our Miles Harris. We're going to play this for you in its entirety to just share in his words, exactly from his words, what he encountered over the weekend. This happened on Saturday morning, he said.
Okay. Tell me what happened this morning.
That happened that morning when I come to here. I see the Latinos walking, running fast. I say, what's wrong? Behind two officers, the Latinos, I see the officer immigration try to catch him, you know. And I say, oh my goodness, the immigration is here. Okay, I come to take breakfast in the restaurant. I park right here. When I walk in, the 3 cars is stopped to me. And I'm coming and asking for my status on USA, you know. I say, why you ask that? He say, oh, use handsel, that's it. I don't handsel because it's the other Latino is in the area. I try to take time for the other people going, you know. For about 20 minutes, I stop to the officer. 20 minutes, okay, I give you good. When I coming out, 2-3 minutes after, when I come to my truck, when I try to start my car, is other different cars stop to me. In 1 minute, the officer say, hey, open the door. Say, I'm scary, you know, because it's 2-3 minutes. Because I come to take my breakfast for to go, because I go to work. I see him, what's wrong? He say, open the door. Why I open the door, you know? I broke your window, okay? Broke it. I got my video on live, you know? He broke, open door, and too hard to take out to me out, you know? And second, I go to the ground like this. Right here. When coming up, I try to stay inside the car. That one officer take to me like this. I got pain in that moment right here. That's crazy, but I'm excited right now because everything happening too fast. I got my wallet right here. He asked for how you status on USA. He say, hey, my wallet is in the wallet is in my pocket. He say,
still, yeah, they'll probably be out there eventually. Yeah.
Right here, put in the car. 10 minutes from here, I say, hey, I got my papers with me. I'm USA citizen. We say, my right ID is in my wallet. He don't hear me. Okay, I get to 10 minutes from here. He put on the computer, something like that, and she say, oh, everything is good, everything is good. Stop, say, okay, get out. 10 minutes from here. You know, hey, give me right to my car. My car is start armed, you know. When I come here, I don't have the key. He take the officer take out when I coming out. But that's crazy because around to me and the first time is the American, the white people, the black people, and one lady Korean. I say, why you ask just to me? Ask the other people too. You trying to find for Latinos? No, for everybody and it's illegal in here. Say, okay, the black one, white, and Chinese. Why just to me? You know? And the first time the officer was good. But in the second time, 4 minutes ago, you know, don't have time, don't got paciencia and everything. Everything happening in 2 minutes.
How many officers would you say that you saw, like during your instance? How many officers would you say you saw?
Around the first 4 and the second 6, I think so, or 4 and 4.
I mean, I know you said it was going so fast, so what's going through your mind as that process is kind of playing out, though?
Okay, in the second time was crazy because it's same thing happening 4 minutes. And the second time we say, hey, 5 minutes, you stop to me, but not me. That's my first time. Everything, don't give me time to explain nothing, you know?
Yeah, and now you don't have keys to your car? broken window.
Yeah, now I need to pay maybe $700 window and key. This is happening in Charlotte this morning. For the next couple of weeks, it's the same. The people come from Chicago, you know, the officers driving Suburban, black, but come from Chicago, it's like too snowing, it's like white in that moment. You know, just carefully stay in the home, that's it. Now I don't go to work. I don't got key. I got my breakfast. Nothing else?
Thank you, man. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Be safe, brother.
Share 2 links to the videos.
Let me close that. I go to my house.
All right, and that was, again, Will Acetano, who shared with our Miles Harris what he says happened to him. In response, because his video and his interview appeared on many media platforms, on a lot of social media platforms. Homeland Security releasing this yesterday in response. American citizens should never help criminals evade officers. During an enforcement operation in Charlotte, this individual became erratic, refused lawful commands, and had to be removed from his vehicle. DHS law enforcement followed their training to remove him. The individual later admitted he was trying to distract officers so others could evade the law. And that is not allowed. An American citizen or otherwise. Anyway, we will continue to bring you the latest here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. First, a 2-minute break, as we'll be right back. Back here now at 9:40 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal. We continue to follow what's happening around Charlotte in what is being dubbed as Charlotte's Web from Customs Border Patrol, making 81 arrests on Saturday alone on what the agency says are criminals and folks who have long criminal history and records. In the meantime, we are getting plenty of response from our local and state leaders, including Governor Josh Stein, who posted a statement on social media late last night. We're going to play this for you now here on WCNC Plus.
It's Josh Stein. I wanted to provide an update as Customs and Border Patrol agents have been in Charlotte over the weekend. My team and I have been in regular contact with state and local law enforcement to ensure that they have the resources that they need to keep you safe. Public safety is our top priority, and our well-trained local officers know their communities and are here for the long haul. On Friday, before Customs and Border Protection came to Charlotte, I encouraged North Carolinians to follow the law, remain peaceful, and bear witness to what you're seeing. Thank you, Charlotte, for answering that call. To the CBP, if you know that we have violent criminals in Charlotte who are undocumented, we want them out too. Everyone wants to be safe in their communities. But the actions of too many federal agents are doing the exact opposite in Charlotte. We've seen masked, heavily armed agents in paramilitary garb driving unmarked cars, targeting American citizens based on their skin color, racially profiling and picking up random people in parking lots and off of our sidewalks, going after landscapers simply decorating a Christmas tree in someone's front yard, and entering churches and stores to grab people. This is not making us safer. It's stoking fear and dividing our community. I want to say a word about immigration. We are a nation of immigrants, and our state and this country is stronger because of our immigrant communities. Unfortunately, our immigration system is broken, but rather than fix it, the federal government continues to play politics with it. It is long past time for Congress to act. We need strong borders. We must hold accountable and deport anyone who has committed a serious crime, and we must create a path to legal status for those who've been here a long time, paid their taxes, and followed the law, especially our dreamers who came to this country as very young children. North Carolina, I know this is a stressful moment, but please stay peaceful. And if you see something wrong, record it and report it to local law enforcement. That's what we can do for our neighbors to keep each other safe. That's the North Carolina way. Thank you.
And that was from North Carolina, Governor Josh Stein, of course, in response to what is happening over the weekend. I was here on Saturday as we brought you a special edition of Live Impact News because of what is happening. Their first appearance, Border Patrol agents making their presence known starting on Saturday. And we certainly want to hear from the Republicans, the other side, if you will. And by the way, I have reached out to Representative Ralph Norman out of South Carolina, who has been outspoken about this. We're trying to get him back now that this operation is underway. He is traveling today, so it doesn't look like it's going to happen today. We're going to try to schedule something for tomorrow. In the meantime, over the weekend, I spoke to GOP Chair Kyle Kirby, who strongly supports what is happening here in Mecklenburg County on the operations. This is our interview. I don't believe it is dated, but his viewpoint on what is happening now as far as Border Patrol's Charlotte's Web. This for you here on WCNC Plus. Kyle, you're a native Charlottean, deeply involved in the community. What is your reaction to the news of Border Patrol operations in the Queen City?
Well, I wonder if our local government elected officials had been stronger on public safety in Charlotte, would Charlotte have taken a center point in the idea that immigration enforcement and Border Patrol needs to come here in the first place? So I've got to question whether or not, if we were more serious about safety for Charlotteans, would we be in the limelight of federal enforcement of Border Patrol and immigration tactics?
Yeah, it's one of those questions where, leaders and constituents and just regular everyday people are asking, why here? You have these big cities, L.A., Chicago, and now Charlotte. Is the administration trying to make a statement of some kind?
Well, Charlotte isn't as small as we think it is. It's actually a larger city than San Francisco. And with all the violence that's been going on in Charlotte across the summer and the 200% increase in murders in the uptown area, we've taken center stage for the unsafe nature in the city of Charlotte. So, I mean, if you're going to be on a national scene for, disorder and streets that people are afraid to walk down, you've got to expect some type of enforcement coming from the federal government.
Sure. With CMPD just releasing their third quarter stats saying that violent crime is actually down, and we're on pace with the size that we are, the argument being that aren't we just kind of falling in line with a normal everyday big city?
Well, overall, crime might be down, but violent crime in the center of Charlotte is up over 200% since this summer.
So what do you think needs to ease some of the tensions, ensure that public safety is a priority here in Charlotte?
Well, I think our mayor and other civic elected leaders need to take the citizens of Charlotte's safety more seriously, and that would get us out of the federal attention and allow us to do our own work here in the city of Charlotte, and we wouldn't have federal oversight. You may already know that the Fraternal Order of Police has asked for National Guard presence as well as 3 members of Congress. So I'm just thankful at this point that we're only getting border protection and patrol enforcement in Charlotte and not full-on National Guard.
Sure. Yeah, we've heard from Pat Harrigan saying that this is, he's calling for it along with the FOP, and Representative Ralph Norman, of course, out of South Carolina, saying, hey, this is actually a great thing for Mecklenburg County. You obviously agree. And on the other hand, Democrats saying that, we're lacking communication with the federal government, and we can take care of our own. What do you say to that?
Well, if you look at the sheriff's department that's not willing to enforce or work with ICE and Border Patrol, it's no wonder that they're here.
So as far as working with the federal government, and other people are saying that we're not hearing anything. We want to cooperate, but there's no communication. Just let us know who you're targeting. We want to fight crime if there's crime to be had, if indeed there are criminals to be targeted. And so, what can you do now as local officials and leadership to ensure moving forward this is a safe operation?
Well, if you recall, when Sheriff McFadden ran against Sheriff Carmichael, one of the key points that Sheriff McFadden said that he was going to do was not cooperate with ICE. So for all the years that Sheriff McFadden has been in office, he has not been cooperating with ICE. So had we been cooperating all along, or better yet, had we done a better job protecting our borders over the last 10 years, would we be in this predicament now? And I think the answer to that is no.
You have some small businesses and have worked in low-income communities. Are you hearing, or what are you hearing from people in those communities about what's happening?
Well, the immigrants to this country that I know are happy that enforcement is going on because they believe that enforcement of our immigration laws upholds the rigorous entry that they had to go through, and it makes the time that they spent trying to come to this country legally, and it makes them feel like those people that have sidestepped the immigration laws that are being picked up now by Border Patrol are people that have lessened the value of the immigration process in which people are required to go through. So generally what I'm hearing is positive things in regard to the Border Patrol presence.
And, I know you emphasize love and compassion for all, and local leaders calling for everybody to stand together. So now, what is your message to Charlotteans?
Well, I think the message to Charlotteans is President Trump ran on a secure the border platform, and right now he is fulfilling on his obligation to the country to secure our borders. And that doesn't necessarily mean just at the ports of entry or just at the borders, but that also means cleaning up the problems that we have allowed to happen over the many years that we have had an unsecure border. And unfortunately, because of an unsecure border under President Joe Biden, we've all become a border state.
And Kyle, I asked this of Commissioner Susan Rodriguez earlier. Now that we're here, now that we're seeing evidence of what's happening, some encounters with some agents, and then the protests, which seems peaceful, how do you move forward here? How do we come together now and make sure that we are, again, feeling safe and staying safe?
Well, I think naturally, we feel for anybody that's impacted by the enforcement of the laws, but regardless of how we feel for them on a personal level, a country is made up of borders and it's made up of laws, and we have to respect those laws in order to respect the sovereignty of the country and the states in which we're a part of. I think if Sheriff McFadden and whoever else may become the next sheriff, I think if we can work together with federal law enforcement, ICE, Homeland Security, Border Patrol, we would see a lot less federal presence in our city.
Kyle, is there anything else our viewers should know to help us understand the situation?
Just that if you are a legal immigrant to the United States, you have nothing to fear. If you are a person that should not be here legally, then I would recommend that you start trying to go through the process to become a legal resident. Don't overstay visas. Make sure that you're doing what you should be doing as a guest here in our country. And remember, immigration and working in this country is a privilege, not a right.
Kyle Kirby, chair of the Mecklenburg GOP, appreciate your time and weighing in on Border Patrol in Charlotte. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Back now at 9:54 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal, happy to be with you on this Monday morning. Since the weekend, the Customs and Border Patrol agents have made their way around the Charlotte Metro, calling it Charlotte's Web, where their mission, according to Commander Greg Bovino, is to arrest those with who have these long criminal histories and are immigrants, are illegal immigrants, I should say. So we continue to bring you that because their operations are happening all over the city. So in the meantime, we have heard that churches that have a large congregation of Latinos are not as full. They weren't as full yesterday for their services. Stores are not as busy, those frequented by, again, the Latino community in some of those neighborhoods. And we did speak to Rusty Price, who heads up the church at Camino, and this is what he had to say to us yesterday.
Say your first last name, spell it for me, please.
Rusty Price, Rustyprice.
Okay, and your title?
I'm the pastor of Camino Church and the CEO founder of Camino Community Development Corporation.
Okay, perfect. So tell me a little bit about, obviously Saturday is when Border Patrol agents first made their way here to Charlotte. We've been seeing these videos go viral. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, again, we're saddened by what we're seeing. You know, the promise of Border Patrol coming into our community to get out the violent criminals. The community I serve, we're all for that, right? Because many times they're victims of those crimes. But what we're seeing is that campaign of law and justice has turned into a campaign of terror for our community. And it seems like just indiscriminately grabbing anybody that looks Hispanic, and that's just not right. So the fear is crippling for our community right now, and we're standing up for them and standing with them, ready to serve them during these days.
Talk about, you know, you never know. They're going to certain areas. I mean, they may try to come here. What's your thoughts on that?
We've been prepared for a while. You know, we know the law, we know our rights. We also know their authority. And so if they don't have a warrant, they can't come into the buildings, and our security team's ready for that. And if they come with a warrant, then we will obviously comply to whatever, you know, the law states. However, we think it is unnecessary to come to church. If they have a warrant for somebody's arrest, they know where they live. There's no need for them to come to a church to get them. It would just be theater to, again, instill fear in communities. And so we're hopeful that that won't happen, but if it does, we're ready.
Talk about, for people that are afraid maybe to come to church, you know, amidst all of this going on, what's your message to them?
Well, in times of great threat is the most important time to lean in on our faith. And I always say faith and fear look a lot alike. They both ask us to believe something that hadn't happened yet. And so fear will enslave us, faith will set us free. So my encouragement to everybody is lean on your faith, and God knows you're here. God loves you. God loves the immigrants and the foreigners that are among us. I was reading scripture this morning where it commands us to treat those among us that are foreign just as if they were our brothers and sisters. And it says there's a curse on anybody who withholds justice from the immigrant. So to all of my friends here that are under this threat, my encouragement is just trust God. He's sovereign, He's in control, and He'll work all things together for good.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything else you want to share?
Well, we have a clinic here, a medical clinic, dental clinic, and what we found since Friday is that people are afraid to go to the doctor, and diabetics that don't get their medicines, they can get in trouble quickly. Here at Camino, we've pivoted, so we have the capacity for telehealth, and so we're leaning into all types of our online services with the church as well, and we're also organizing ourselves to help deliver food and.
All right, back here now. That was Rusty Price, pastor at Camino Church, and encouraging folks to trust in the spirit and the process of what is happening in Charlotte. Want to take you out back live right now to Washington, D.C., where RFK Jr., Secretary of Health, is to make an announcement of some kind on food allergies. That's all we know as far as the subject matter, but leading to this point are a number of panelists from the Food Allergy Fund Commission. Let's go ahead and listen in live.
Goodbye and hope it went to a great place, but actually to give very focused, significantly sized dollars, 10, 20, 30, 40, up to 100 or $200 million towards an area, and it allows us to manage it incredibly responsibly. We can turn that money off, we can turn it up, we can switch directions, whatever we need to do, whatever that program manager needs to do to help that community go towards a goal. One of the things I know we've been working with the Food Allergy Fund on is being able, and the Food Allergy Forum, is to be able to understand what are those key things that we need to move forward on. We're in the early days of those. We've identified broad areas. But what we need at this point is some incredible people to come into ARPA-H, to sign up and say, I want to make a huge difference here. I want to move this field forward. I want to make the future happen sooner, especially for every child today that may only be 2 or 3 and starting to suffer from these, so that by the time they're 10 or 12, this no longer has to be an issue for them and their families and wherever they go in life. I just want to close with, I'm very grateful to be leading this agency. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to go tackle giant problems like this one and work together with the community and the best researchers in the world on it. I want to work with all of you. Please come to ARPA-H. Please come talk to us, talk about the ideas, and go out into the community and also tell people about this incredible agency that if we get the right people in the door, we can make very big things happen. I've had the opportunity of working at DARPA where I myself have been able to see really things that were impossible not only become probable, but actually go into the field, out into the world, and make a very large difference. That is what we're offering here. I'm very grateful to everyone here. Thank you, and I'd love to talk to you further.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. We'll now take a coffee break in the Lincoln Foyer, and the program will resume promptly at 10:15. Thank you.
All right, it appears that they are going to take a 5 here, maybe 10. So let's go ahead and take 2 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Time right now is 10:04. You're watching Live Impact News here on WCNC Plus. You may have heard just hours ago, FAA lifting their restrictions on flights. They were they reduced them, I should say, 4 to 6% because of the government shutdown. Took a few days to get it back ramped up, and now that it seems that they are fully staffed again, so they are running flights as normal outside of any government shutdown related issues. It might be something else else, but it is not due to any FAA or air traffic control issues now. So at Charlotte Douglas right now, we are hearing that how many cancellations, Carlene?
We got only 2 cancellations on the board right now.
2 cancellations,
and then there's
so that's better.
24 delays.
Okay.
Which isn't bad.
Not bad.
For a Monday.
That's a normal
That's
day,
kind
it
of a
seems
normal.
like. Yeah.
And this is for, I should note, this is for arriving and departing flights. So it's not all just departing flights at Charlotte.
Okay.
So,
All right. So
yeah,
still
not too bad.
check your flights. But just to let you know, that is the official word, FAA, back up to full capacity, full operations when it comes to traffic control, air traffic control rather, and TSA. All right, so happening live right now, let's go ahead and join this. This is the North Carolina House session that is happening. They are reconsidering several previously vetoed bills. Let's go ahead and listen in on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
So welcome to the House. Mr. Clerk, the bills which appear on today's calendar are withdrawn and placed on the calendar for Monday, December 15th. Are there any further notices or announcements? Seeing none, the gentleman from Harnett, Representative Penny, is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn to reconvene Thursday, November the 20th at 10 a.m. subject to the standard stipulations set forth in Rule 15.1.
Representative Penny moves, seconded by Representative White, that the House do now adjourn to reconvene Thursday, November 20th at 10 a.m., subject to the standard stipulations set forth in Rule 15.1. Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed will say no. Being chair, the ayes have it. The House stands adjourned.
That's like going to a party and the party's over, you know?
Easy go, easy go.
Thanks for
You know?
coming.
We got it live and then they pieced out.
That's what happens. All right, so instead, we are going to switch our focus now to Florida because U.S. Marshal William Berger and the Attorney General gathering as this is what they're calling an array of partners holding a media press conference in the results of a multi-region child rescue operation. All right, this is on Live Impact News.
11 of which were in other states in the United States, and then 2 were located internationally, Mexico and Guatemala. There are many human stories involving this operation. A picture behind me will see the photos of a brother and sister embracing, having been reported missing separately 2 years ago in Fort Myers. In Jacksonville, 2 brothers aged 14 and 15 were reported missing a year ago and found within a trailer park. Both brothers had been exposed to methamphetamine and other drugs by persons in that trailer park. The 2 boys were found under the influence and suffering from severe malnutrition. When found, they told members of the recovery force, "Thank you for saving our lives." They were later reunited with their mother. These stories are just a small example of the success stories of the operation, which allowed our Middle District of Florida-based child recovery initiatives to stand out. Is the emphasis on what happens after we recover the children. We know these children have significant needs, and once we find them, it makes sense to build these operations alongside of like-minded partners from across the child welfare space. Going back in time when Adam Walsh and Jimmy Rice and numerous other children were abducted and murdered, America made child abductions and locating missing children's priority number 1. Over time, though, incidents such as 9/11, school shootings, the war on drugs, have somewhat diminished the priority. But Operation Dragon Eye, Home for the Holidays, it is hopeful, and we're starting to see this nationally now, that the successes we have initiated the importance of missing child cases. I would like to personally thank all the persons and organizations that participated in these 2 operations. I know we have made a difference. Lastly, one special group I would like to recognize, Boomerang Air Charter. a group of volunteers who provided charity mission flights that were used to charter aircraft dispatched to locations to bring back children to the Middle District of Florida. Boomerang Air Charter supported recovery of children located in the states of Illinois, North Carolina, and South Florida. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marshall. Next, Vaden Pollard, FDLE.
Thank you, General Uthmeyer. Thank you, Marshal Berger. It's an honor to be here with you today. I'm Deputy Commissioner Vaden Pollard with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. I'm speaking on behalf of Commissioner Mark Glass. I can't think of a better news story than to have the opportunity to stand up in front of a group of people and to announce that there are 122 kids who are safe now. They're safe because of the efforts of this great team that you see standing here behind me. We could not do it alone. Everybody working together in unison, it pays dividends. I don't think I've seen a more committed team to keeping FDLE safe in years. It's been a great pleasure to work with everyone here. Next, I would like to talk to you a little bit about what FDLE's part was in this operation. Our analysts, so we have several crime intelligence analysts throughout the state and also in our Missing and Endangered Persons Information Clearinghouse, also known as MEPIC. All of these kids' names are known. We put these packets together, we do a detailed analysis, dive into social media, make contact with their associates, and do everything we can to find them. And in this case, you see the results, 122 kids. The ages, it's surprising whenever you hear that, isn't it? I can't think of a more vulnerable group of people than our kids that are out here in Florida and that are missing. They are preyed upon by people who want to do bad things. They convince them of a reality that's going to keep them safe, but it's not real. And they're put into a life of servitude. Many of them are. And now, these kids are not. So thank you all very much, all of the partnering organizations that come together. We couldn't do it without you guys, and we couldn't do it without General Uthmeyer's leadership. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think on the year between these two missions and then Operation Lightshine and the Tebow Foundation, I think we got to be very close to 300 children rescued, which is far and away the largest record in Florida history. Secretary Walsh, come on up.
Thank you, General. Governor DeSantis appointed me Secretary of DJJ a few months ago with the charge of public safety. And between the collaboration of the governor and General Uthmeyer, saving kids is part of public safety. The team behind you can't be thanked enough. In particular, Dr. Catherine Gomez from DJJ, she was our lead, she's our Director of Human Trafficking. And without her leading on behalf of DJJ, it'd be very difficult to be successful. Thank you, Doctor. I want to thank all of the people from DJJ. We have offices across the state between our detention, probation, health services. This was a huge team effort to spread across the Middle District of Florida to ensure that we were giving care to the kids as they were being found and located. Again, 122 youth. That is astonishing. But the work doesn't end because we have more youth that need to be found and rescued. I just want to thank the team behind me. Your efforts can't be understated enough how important this work is. And partnership, so between FDLE, DJJ, and DCF, working hand in hand as state agencies, collaborating with the federal services, and of course the nonprofits. Just thank you to everyone. Thanks, General.
Secretary Hatch, DCF.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. My name is Taylor Hatch, and I have the absolute honor of serving as the Secretary for the Florida Department of Children and Families. Under the leadership of Governor DeSantis, who leads by example, he sets the pace and the tone and the expectation that we deliver for Floridians and their families. And that's why today is so very important. It highlights the fact that moments matter and the critical nature of partnership to deliver, because lives are on the line. I am humbled and again so grateful to stand alongside so many dedicated professionals, leaders, and colleagues. Attorney General Uthmeier, U.S. Marshal for the Middle District of Florida, William Berger, FDLE Deputy Commissioner Pollard, Secretary Walsh from DJJ, and so many others. Thank you to the U.S. Marshal Service and FDLE for organizing today's event. It is an opportunity not only to reflect on the success of Operation Home for the Holidays, but to reaffirm our shared commitment amongst government, amongst faith organizations, not-for-profits, and the private sector, unifying and utilizing one another's strengths and one another's expertise to deliver and to promote.
We break away now from that live press conference out of Florida, and we'll take a break here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. At 10:18 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus, want to bring you the latest bit of information we're receiving now as we've been covering Charlotte's Web. Customs and Border Patrol agents making their way across Charlotte, making dozens of arrests. From Homeland Security now, a statement saying on social media, Operation Charlotte's Web is targeting criminal illegal aliens who have flocked to the Tar Heel state. DHS law enforcement is surging to Charlotte to protect Americans and remove these public safety threats. There have been too many victims of criminal illegal aliens. President Trump and Secretary Noem will step up to protect Americans when sanctuary politicians won't. And so that is the latest that was posted not even an hour ago, a statement, and again, just validating and confirming their presence and the reasons why they are making their way across Charlotte. I want to get you back out to Florida now as a press conference is happening live there. This is the U.S. Marshal's Office and several other agencies talking about an operation on child predators. Let's go ahead and continue to listen in on Live Impact News.
We are grateful for the men and women undertaking this important and difficult work. This is the third time that BayCare has assisted the U.S. Marshals Service to provide medical and mental health services for children rescued during a child recovery operation. Each time, our goal is to ensure that the kids who are brought to our recovery hub are welcomed into an environment comforting and, most importantly, consenting. Creating a positive healthcare experience is a first step to building trust. By doing so, it is our hope that this vulnerable group of kids will be more inclined to seek help in the future, realizing there are people who sincerely care about their well-being. To that end, I want to thank our Baycare team members, from our counselors to our physicians, nurses, security personnel, and more, who volunteered their time and talents to support this important mission. I also want to thank the community and social service agencies that were part of our recovery hub: the Department of Children and Families, the Attorney General's Office, Pasco Kids First, the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay, More to Living, One More Child, Suncoast, and Bridging Freedom. Each provided on-site, compassionate victim advocates and support staff who were instrumental in securing safe housing and offering pathways for additional care and support. Lastly, I would like to recognize and congratulate our other health system partners from Jacksonville, Orlando, and Fort Myers who participated in this operation for the first time. Baptist Medical Center, Orlando Health, and Lee Health really took a leap of faith and each created a successful recovery hub to provide the essential care for children recovered in their areas. As the largest provider of pediatric and behavioral health services in West Central Florida, Baycare is proud to lend our expertise and resources to support these critical missions being conducted by the U.S. Marshals Services. To be part of the highly skilled network of professionals that they have assembled is inspiring. These operations solidify strong partnerships between law enforcement, healthcare, and community-based organizations to work together naturally in real time outside of these operations when needed. It is a testament to the good that can be achieved when we unite under a common goal of protecting children and recognizing that each act of care and kindness has the potential to save a life. Thank you.
Kim from More to Life.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. As a representative of MTL and on the behalf of the entire victim services community, I am deeply honored to stand with the U.S. Marshals Service, FDLE, and local law enforcement agencies as we announce the results of this operation involving 122 critically endangered missing children. While the Marshals led the law enforcement mission with extraordinary skill, our role as victim service providers begins the moment a child is recovered and continues long after these headlines fade. When these children were located, they were often found in horrific conditions, traumatized, and unsure of who is safe. This is where integrated victim services and NGO partnerships make a vital difference. We bring trauma-informed support that helps stabilize a child in the first critical hours after recovery. We help them feel safe, seen, believed, and protected, sometimes for the very first time. When NGOs and law enforcement partners together, it also ensures that each child's physical, emotional, and mental needs are recognized immediately. We provide crisis response, medical and mental health, safety planning and support for appropriate reunification. And when reunification is not the next step, we work closely with our child welfare partners to begin to secure safe placements where healing can begin. Our involvement is not only about care, it's also about ongoing support. We help bridge the gap between law enforcement, child welfare systems, community agencies, and families so that no child falls through the crack after a recovery. We focus on long-term stability, ongoing therapy, education support, advocacy, and wraparound care services so that we give each young person a real chance to recover and thrive. This operation shows what is possible when law enforcement and victim service organizations operate as a unified team. All of our law enforcement partners brought unmatched investigative expertise. NGOs and service providers brought the lens of healing, safety, and human dignity. Together, we created an approach that protects not only a child's location, but their future. To the victims, we see you. To our law enforcement partners, we thank you. And to our community organizations standing with us, your compassion and expertise are indispensable. Our work does not end today, but today reminds us that when we work together, children can be found and hope can be restored. Thank you.
Callahan Walsh, National Center for Missing and Endangered Children.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I'm Callahan Walsh, co-host of America's Most Wanted, alongside my father, John Walsh, brother to a once missing child, Adam Walsh, and executive director at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We are honored to stand alongside our partners, the U.S. Marshals Service, to discuss the success of this recent operation and the impact it's had on children and families here in Florida. Ahead of the operation, NCMEC identified missing child cases from the targeted regions and shared those cases with the multi-agency working group. These cases involve children missing from care, victims of child sex trafficking, children battling significant mental health challenges, and others facing serious endangerments. Every one of them uniquely vulnerable while missing, something my family knows all too well. To support the operation, 2 NCMEC analysts were deployed on site to provide real-time analytical support to law enforcement in the field, leveraging every available resource and piece of information to help locate and safely recover these missing kids. Over the course of the 2-week effort, 122 children were safely recovered, and each represents far more than a statistic. It represents a child brought out of harm's way, a family reunited, and an opportunity to provide support and services that help prevent future victimization. Operations like this are critical. They unite multiple agencies, data sources, and specialized expertise around a single mission, bringing missing children home. At NCMEC, we remain deeply committed to supporting our law enforcement and child welfare partners who work tirelessly every day to locate and protect our most vulnerable kids. We are profoundly grateful for our long-standing partnership with the U.S. Marshals Service and for their leadership in coordinating this multiple disciplinary effort. Today, we are stronger, and together we will continue to focus every available resource toward the recovery and safety of missing kids. Thank you very much.
Dun, dun, dun. Rita Peters to close us out.
Thank you for being here. We're proud to share the impact that Operation Home for the Holidays, a coordinated effort focused on locating missing children and ensuring that they are safe as we enter into this holiday season. This operation reflects the very best of the collaborative public safety work of these agencies. Prosecutors like myself, Stephanie Bergen, Mary Salmon, and Emily Frazier from our Jacksonville office, federal, state, and local law enforcement, such as FBI, HSI, St. Petersburg Police Department, Tampa Police Department, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and I could keep going on. Our child protection teams from our DCF partners, our victim advocates from the statewide prosecutors' offices as well as the NGOs, and also from the Office of the Attorney General and FDLE, and community partners, all came together with one mission: bring our children home. This level of teamwork doesn't happen by accident. It happens because leaders make it a priority. I want to extend my deepest gratitude for being part of this operation. Thank you to U.S. Marshals Service, Marshal Berger, for his exceptional expertise and commitment, to Mario Price, who picked up the phone about 6 months ago. Unbeknownst to him, I was going to be at his heels nipping at this operation. And to my leader, whom I affectionately refer to as Boss Man, Attorney General James F. Meyer, for prioritizing the safety and security of every child in this state. Their dedication makes operations like this possible. And their support ensures that we have resources and the coordination needed to protect vulnerable children. For prosecutors, participating in operations like this is essential. We provide legal process, subpoenas, preservation letters, search warrants, arrest warrants, and legal advice. But our work begins long before the courtroom. Being on the ground, seeing the investigative challenges firsthand, and understanding those immediate needs of each child gives us the insight that directly strengthens our cases and our advocacy. It helps us identify patterns of exploitation, risks in trafficking, and the vulnerabilities that put children in harm's way, so we can act quickly and effectively and advocate more passionately. More importantly, it reminds us of the human side of this work. Every child recovered during Operation Home for the Holidays is a child who now has a chance to be safe, supported, and seen. When prosecutors join these efforts, we ensure that every recovery is followed by the appropriate legal action, the services necessary, and the long-term protection. This operation shows what can be accomplished when we work together and when the safety of our children is treated as the highest priority. It is a powerful reminder that every missing child deserves the full force of our collaborative effort to bring them home, especially during the holidays when families should be whole, hopeful, and safe. And I leave you with this one request. Mario, when are we doing this again?
A final thank you to all of our investigators and law enforcement. Again, this is why we do the job. Here in Florida, we're blessed to have these heroes, and we've got their back. I'm certainly going to love on my little ones tonight and hold them close. I hope you all will do the same. Children are such a gift, and anybody that wants to do them harm is going to face the wrath of this team standing up here behind me. So do two things. Get the word out. If you're a child predator, you better stay the heck away from our state. And two, please pray for those that have been rescued and need our help more than ever. I believe there's nothing more powerful than prayer. And pray for those that are still out there missing. And as long as there's one kid missing, we will keep the search and fight going. So with that, Marshall, you want to come up? I know you have some of the more particulars. If there's any questions about the operation, and I'll jump in as needed.
Sir, it looks as though about 47% of the kids who were recovered are from the Tampa Bay area. Is that a sign that Tampa Bay has a particular problem in the state?
I wouldn't specify that as a problem here in Tampa Bay. It's just the fact that there's such an openness, and now that we're doing these operations, we're sharing that information. As we're getting the word out, a lot of jurisdictions don't have that connectivity. And I think what we're seeing here, and this is a blueprint for the rest of the state, the rest of the country, to say that collaboratively we can make success. And I think that's the key thing. It's all about gathering information, working with analysts, and getting the job done.
What can the state do, and what is it doing to fight the root causes of why children are being trafficked?
It's a very complicated question from the standpoint that you look at the children involved. Many come from very bad situations at home. Many are foster children that leave that foster environment. We got to kind of tighten those organizations. We got to reach out to those kids, local law enforcement in domestic violence situations, and make sure that it's just not take the report, move on, or do the criminal aspect. Try and get our partners here in back of us involved in this, and hopefully turn these kids around.
I'll jump in too.
Yes, sir.
So on the question of how do we combat this more globally, well, number one, we keep doing operations like this. And that's number one. Number two, where you see a lot of this trafficking and abuse, it's almost always tied to illicit pornography industries that are going after minors, and we're cracking down there. It's tied to large-scale drug networks. It's tied to the open border, and we're obviously cracking down there to prevent a lot of this criminal activity that creeps over and spreads out. When it comes to the medicinal, the rehabilitation, there we've got state agencies looking for the best ways to provide the medical care and ultimately improve the quality of life where these young people are set out to help them to succeed. So it's multifaceted. I believe it does start with law enforcement cracking down to highlight the issue. A lot of people, they don't understand human trafficking is real, but it brings the idea, oh, it's 8 little kids in a trunk of a car. Sometimes it is, and that's horrific. But it's also often more complicated than that, with ties to prostitution, to pornography, and to illicit drug trade. But you better believe we're going to keep fighting with everything we got. If that's not clear. Any other questions?
Again, you've been listening into the live press conference happening now around a child predator ring in Florida. Right now, we want to talk about what's happening here in Charlotte. Of course, making the news around social media, the presence of Border Patrol agents all around the area and with their operations taking place and feeling their presence known. Bringing back now Charlotte City Council member Malcolm Graham. Thank you, Mr. Graham, for joining us here this morning on Live Impact News.
I'm glad to be here with you again.
Councilman Graham, now that these operations are underway, they began Saturday there at First Ward Park. You were here on Friday as well. Now that they're underway, what are you hearing from residents?
Both are rightfully so afraid, scared, anxious. What's happening on the streets of Charlotte is simply racial profiling. They don't have a list of 10 or 12 bad guys that they're trying to search for or arrest. It's anyone that's brown, that may be a Latino or Hispanic descent, and they're just pulling them over. It's un-American. Obviously, individuals who break the law should be prosecuted, but everyone is due process. And what's happening on the streets of Charlotte, like what happened on the streets of Chicago or Washington or New York, it's just un-American, and people are rightfully so concerned about the behavior of the Border Patrol officers.
On Friday, you called their deployment politically motivated. Now that the operations again are underway, anything change that or reinforcing that?
It's just a reinforcement of it. It's almost like the circus is in town. A traveling road show from, again, D.C., New York, Chicago, now Charlotte, and soon to be in New Orleans. It's not making our community any safer. It's not providing any due process to individuals who deserve them. It's not really doing anything other than demonstrating power and force of a government that has certainly overstepped their authority, coming into local communities and trying to divide rather than bring people together.
Yeah, city leaders last week also saying that people without criminal records are actually being detained in other cities. Now, what are you hearing about the citizens here that are being detained? Because we heard and saw on social media Commander Bovino actually reporting and putting their images out there on social media saying that this criminal or a list of criminals are being taken off the streets in Charlotte and that this is a good thing.
Well, again, part of what's not occurring is accurate and fair communication with the government bodies. And so we are learning too information from social media, which is not really a good way to provide information to local governments about what's happening within their communities. Obviously, they described this as arresting the worst of the worst. Many of the folks that they're picking up have minor misdemeanors at best. Again, I don't have a full understanding of the individuals that they have arrested because they have not provided us any information. And so we know from news accounts like yourself reporting it, when they find out on social media or other avenues about the circumstances of those being arrested. But again, I go back to my point from earlier, which is racially profiling individuals, right? And under no circumstances should that be allowed. Again, here's a brother who lost his sister in the basement of Emmanuel AME Church, who was racially profiled. She was black and she just happened to be there and she was killed. And so I think we really have to look at this with a broader lens, certainly as I am, about the conduct and the action of the officers in the federal government in this case. Obviously, we want to secure the borders. We want to ensure that the safety of every citizen here in the city of Charlotte, but we also want to ensure that individuals have some due process and that we're playing on a level playing field.
What would you like folks to know, and really Charlotteans, what would you like our residents to know in Mecklenburg County moving forward here in the next few days, if not weeks?
Well, one, that there are a wide variety of churches, organizations, grassroots organizations that have their back, that are working to ensure that we are stronger together, and that the city, the county, the school board, local organizations, grassroots organizations are here to support the immigrant community, to ensure that everyone is given the due process that they are required to have by law, to remain calm, to act in a peaceful manner, that try not to instigate any type of disturbance with the officers who are, I guess, trying to do their jobs. I don't think they're doing a good job at it. But just remain calm, and to hopefully that they will be out of our community sooner than later, and that the folks in Washington, D.C., our senators and our members of Congress will have a meaningful conversation about immigration reform and try to work together to solve the issue. It is an issue. I acknowledge that, but it should not be solved on the streets of the city of Charlotte.
And by most accounts, on Saturday's protest there at First Ward Park and the march following seemed, all in all, quite peaceful. So maybe more to come as that spreads.
Yeah. Folks should peacefully protest, make sure that their voices are heard. Certainly, that's what our democracy is built upon. Obviously, it's also built upon going to vote. And we just had a recent election weeks ago. There will be another one next year in March for the 2026 election. This is what some of this is really about, right? Power and control. In North Carolina, we have a U.S. Senate race that will be on the ballot, our General Assembly, etc. And people should exercise their right to vote, because that's how you can have immediate and impactful change to make sure that we have policies in place that reflects the community nationally, as well as here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
City Council Member Malcolm Graham joining us here on Live Impact News. Appreciate, again, your time and weighing in here this morning.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and everyone stay safe out there.
All right, we will. And we'll be back on Live Impact News on WCNC+. All right, welcome back at 10:46 here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal, just taking an extra minute there to set up our next guest because we've been talking about Customs and Border Patrol agents taking place, the operations taking place here since Saturday. As we anticipated and expected, many leaders from the local level to the state level talking about their presence, expecting, their presence be known here and asking why this is happening here in the Queen City. We do know that Commander Greg Bovino has said that 81 arrests made on Saturday alone. These detainees and arrests happening to people that they say are criminals and have a long history of crimes. So right now, I want to bring in North Carolina Representative of Mecklenburg County, Aisha Dew, here in the Live Impact studio. Thanks for joining us here, Representative Dew. Appreciate your time. And like I said, they were here since Saturday, conducting these operations. It was something you guys already expected as far as the leadership goes. What is your take on what's happening?
Well, we did expect it after we heard about it on Wednesday, of course, but we were given no real detail or clarity. Of course, they're not really working in tandem with our law enforcement. And so it seems as though there's no reasonable factor that really brings them here. I don't think that they have the numbers to make their quotas.
Okay. I mean, I did speak to, over the weekend, GOP Chair Kyle Kirby, just bringing in some more voices about immigration enforcement and crimes that are taking place. He argues Border Patrol making these operations that they're necessary for public safety, to which I said, actual safety numbers or crime numbers, according to CMPD, is down. What is your knowledge as far as, the crime stats and what that means, why Border Patrol chose Charlotte?
Yeah, it's interesting because the only difference between Border Patrol and ICE is that essentially that Border Patrol is supposed to actually patrol borders. So we don't need to be protected from South Carolina, Tennessee, or Virginia. And I don't really think that we need to be protected on the side of Wilmington where the beaches are. So I'm not quite sure. I'm sure we have some people from Rock Hill that come in quite frequently, and they're our neighbors and probably our coworkers.
I mean, so describe then what you think should happen here in the next few days or weeks, as no one knows how long they're going to be here.
I think they need to leave. There's no reason for them to be here. What we've seen since they arrived are levels of chaos, confusion, and violence. A man's window being broken out, right? People are terrified. I've heard from parents and also educators that people are not showing up to school, that little children are very afraid to go to school, and they're not necessarily undocumented. They're just children who are living in a really, really terrifying environment from what's been created.
What advice to give to families who are living in this fear and deep concern for, the potential of being broken up or having their privacy, invaded and not living their daily lives, not being able to go to a restaurant, church, or the store?
There are organizations like I believe it's the Migrant Network, International House. They've worked with families to come up with a plan in case children come home and their relatives aren't there. Who would be the next person of contact? That's a really scary situation. And I will say, if I'm not mistaken, the guy who had his window actually broken was a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. So this is not being done with a scalpel, it's being done with a hatchet. If this was an actual targeted operation towards violent offenders, that would look very different. So what we need to do is to make sure everyone stays peaceful, stays calm, that people record what's going on, that people continue to alert the press what's going on, and that we support our immigrant-owned businesses for those of us who are free to move.
For those like not North Carolina, but South Carolina Representative Ralph Norman, right, who's also been vocal about this and saying this is a positive thing and good for you, Mecklenburg County. They're just taking off the criminals off the street, and this is actually a good thing. And then again, back to Mr. Kirby's sentiment saying that if you are a legal person, if you live here legally, then you have nothing to fear. So is it that cut and dry?
It's not that cut and dry, except being arrested even though you're a legal citizen. I mean, they're not the ones who ask questions first and really work to make sure that you're a citizen. They just make an arrest and ask questions later. It's ready, fire, aim. This is not a real strategy.
And then to the fella whose truck was broken into, by his account, by Border Patrol agents, by the Department. Did you see this from Homeland Security? It said that even though you're an American citizen, you cannot, that is not appropriate behavior. You cannot distract agents from doing their job. That man said that he, admitted to saying that he was trying to distract agents. What do you say to those who are trying to support other people in the area and not interfere with the Border Patrol's work?
It's legal to record, and they don't want you to. Unfortunately, I've seen too much footage where someone was simply recording and they had a gun pointed at their face. So the reality of it is that people are trying to protect their neighbors. I think we've all seen the story of the person who I know who had workers in her yard putting up Christmas lights, and the Border Patrol came and tried to remove them. So the tactics are not good tactics. We don't need the federal guard here. We don't need anyone here. I know that the FOP called for that, but of course the CMPD chief has not called for anything of that nature. That being said, they're trained. These people went into a fair, and now they're out on the streets with no training, no level of de-escalation from what I've seen. They most likely are the ones to escalate and move things forward. I'm so glad for those who do, like the Inflation Brigade and the Grandmother's Knitting at the ICE networks. Our people are peaceful. Our people are trying to help their neighbors.
And by all accounts, from Saturday's protest, and I just finished talking to City Council member Malcolm Graham. Those protests and march on Saturday seemed peaceful. Do you anticipate seeing more of these kinds of expressions and protests happening?
I think that people are going to continue to rise up to raise their voices for their neighbors. If that's all that they can do, absolutely. To protest and then to also show up and make sure that their neighbors are safe.
Any hope for communication directly between, city leaders and county leaders with more of the feds?
We'll see what happens. I know from the governor's statement on Wednesday, right? He reached out to the White House and did not have any direct communication. And so I think we'll just see how this goes. I would like to be more hopeful than I can.
All right. North Carolina Representative Aisha Dew, anything else you want us to know or our viewers to know about this situation?
There's no reason for them to be here, and everyone needs to stay peaceful and as positive as we can to keep our community safe.
All right. Appreciate your time. Thanks for coming into the Live Impact studio.
Thank you.
And we'll take a break here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Welcome back to Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We have been going to this there we go again, to a live announcement from Secretary of Health RFK Jr. He is in D.C., about to make a food allergy announcement. We'll go ahead and pick this up for a few minutes on Live Impact News.
Culprits that fit those criteria, and then you begin eliminating them. But those studies have never been done. We are going to do them now, and we will identify what is causing these allergies. The allergies, as I said, they've exploded. CDC, they were so rare that CDC did not even start counting them until 1997. It's just an obvious question. And we have an institute. I wish I was supposed to watch Jay speak. This program was running a little late, and I have a really tight schedule today. But in his agency, there's a sub-agency that was run by Anthony Fauci called the National Institute for Allergic and Infectious Diseases. It's supposed to study allergic diseases. And my question is, why didn't they immediately look on this and say, why are there suddenly all these kids with these allergies?
Food allergy has been proliferating, and it's very much a public health crisis that has flown under the radar. So I'm so excited that together we can really shine a spotlight on what needs to be done to change the course of this disease. You've said that thanks to President Trump's commitment to make America healthy again, your leadership at HHS has delivered.
Well, that actually does it for our time here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. More to come on WCNC Charlotte with that food allergy announcement from Secretary of Health Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Have a great day. Charlotte Today is up next.